They told you sound was just noise, a meaningless ripple, a ghost in the air, nothing more. But what if that was the first lie? What if the sigh of ancient winds through broken temples, the pulse of stars spinning in the abyss, and the silent ache in your chest when grief tears through you are not random echoes, but fragments of a forgotten song? We were trained to trust only the visible, to kneel before what we can label, own, or tear apart under a microscope. But the ancients, they didn't see with their eyes, they listened with their soul. They understood that the real scripture wasn't carved in stone. It was carried in frequency, felt in the marrow, heard in the hush between heartbeats. Even now, the pyramids hum beneath desert silence. The Vedas still chant through the quantum fabric. And your very cells, yes, yours, vibrate with the memory of a sound so pure it could shatter disease or rebuild broken hope with a single note. This isn't mysticism, it's physics, draped in poetry. It's the science of spirit, hidden in the lullaby of the cosmos. You were never just flesh. You were never just breath. You are resonance. You are harmony waiting to be remembered. The question isn't whether sound can heal. The real question is, who silenced your song? And when will you dare to sing again? Because long before the noise of modern life, before cities rose and empires fell, there were those who understood the power of sound, the ancients who sang the world into being. The desert has not forgotten. Beneath layers of sand and silence, it remembers. Not warriors, not kings, but healers, who did not wield blades nor brew potions in secret. The desert has not forgotten. Beneath layers of sand and silence, it remembers. Not warriors, not kings, but healers, who did not wield blades nor brew potions in secret. They moved mountains with breath, with sound, with syllables too sacred to be spoken above a whisper. The Egyptian priest-physicians understood the unseen music of the body. They knew that the liver, the lungs, the heart, each had a note. And when one organ fell out of tune, disease was not a punishment. It was a dissonance. So they sang it back into harmony, not in temples of worship, but in halls of resonance. The pyramids were never tombs. They were colossal tuning forks, precision-engineered chambers where frequencies echoed like the voice of the divine itself. They would lean close to limestone walls, not in prayer, but in purpose, to amplify sound, to transmit healing. A single, perfectly held AUM could mend fractured bones and shake the marrow of invading armies, not with war, but with wavelength. And across the ocean of time, in the firelit stillness of another age, the Vedic seers sat in silence, not waiting for words, but for vibrations. They didn't just listen to the universe. They heard it humming before it was born. They called it Shabda Brahman, sound as the source of all form. When they chanted Om, they weren't performing ritual. They were replicating creation itself. Thread by sacred thread, they pulled the quantum fabric taut across the void. Each mantra was more than a prayer. It was a blueprint, each syllable a tool, forging bridges between skin and spirit, matter and meaning. They weren't poets. They were architects of the unseen. They didn't read the universe. They rewrote it with vibration. Across lands and centuries, this sacred song traveled, finding new voices, new listeners, new dreamers. On a forgotten Grecian shore, where the salt air tangled with mystery, a madman stood at the edge of reason and listened. Pythagoras, not just a mathematician, but a mystic of numbers, a prophet of frequency. He didn't imagine the stars singing. He heard them, not metaphor, not myth, actual music. Rising from the planetary spheres, a celestial chord stretched taut between heaven and earth. A scale so precise it made the divine audible. He claimed fevers could be broken with nothing but a lyre, played in sacred intervals where sound and spirit meet. He taught that music could open gateways in the mind, where gods once walked freely through the halls of man. But not everyone welcomed that truth. The church, cloaked in fear, called it heresy. They silence the sound, burn the tuning forks, lock the knowledge in fire, yet above them, the stars kept humming, software persistent, unshaken. And then came the silence, not all at once, but like a slow, suffocating mist. The lyres fell quiet. The chants were swallowed by fire. The frequencies, forgotten. Libraries turned to ash. The temples, buried. The healers, branded as witches, burned with the very words they once sang to heal. The sacred tones became superstition, the blueprints of creation rewritten as myth, as madness, as noise. But silence is never truly silent. It holds memory like stone holds heat. And sometimes, in the hush of a forgotten cave, on mountaintops where no language dares speak, if you lean in close, if your heart is still, you'll hear it. The echo, faint but resolute. The memory of a morning when the world wasn't built, but sung into being. And perhaps, just perhaps, you still carry the key. Perhaps you remember the tone, the rhythm, the sacred interval. Perhaps you remember how to sing it back. Close your eyes. Press 2 fingers to your throat. Now speak. Feel that? That hum beneath your skin. It's not just your voice. It's your blueprint, your cathedral. It's architecture vibrating in real time. You are not solid. You are sound, condensed. We touch our skin and call it real. We knock on our bones and hear solid. But here's the great cosmic joke. You are 99.999% empty space, a living lattice of atoms, spinning, vibrating, singing. Each cell is a note, each organ a chord, each moment a melody being played across a body made of light. Science anchor, quantum mechanics confirms that all matter is energy, vibrating at specific frequencies. Even your bones vibrate at roughly 38,000 hertz. In 1680, Robert Hooke dragged a violin bow across a plate dusted with flour. What emerged wasn't chaos, but symmetry, patterns, geometry, sacred shapes, all born from vibration. Now watch the frequencies. 440 hertz, modern tuning. Fractured, dissonant chaos. 432 hertz, ancient tuning. Perfect hexagonal symmetry. 528 hertz, DNA repair. The flower of life, blooming in real time. This isn't mysticism, it's sound sculpting matter. It's physics in prayer pose. The amniotic waters knew. You are 70% salt water, just like Earth, and that water listens. Play Bach to water, it crystallizes into snowflakes. Play screaming metal, it collapses into disfigurement. Play 528 hertz, it clarifies, purifies, renews itself. Dr. Masaru Emoto's controversial work on water memory aligns with 2019 MIT studies showing that sound reshapes molecular structures. You are a tide held in form. What you hear, you become. A. The bass note. Healers, 40 to 120 hertz. Tibetan singing bowls resonate in this range, proven to stimulate osteoblasts, bone regeneration. Activates parasympathetic calm 3 times faster than breathwork alone. B. The mid-range miracles, 256 to 512 hertz. 256 hertz was Pythagoras' soul tone. Used in Swiss hospitals to synchronize cardiac rhythms, accelerates post-surgical recovery. C. The sky tones, 900 hertz and above. Crystal bowls produce these celestial harmonics, ignite gamma brainwaves, linked to peak cognition and bliss states. Activate the pituitary gland, your inner pharmacy of light. The ancients didn't invent chakra tones, they uncovered them. Lam is not just a sound for the root chakra. It is the root chakra's voice made audible. Resonates at 194 hertz in the pelvic floor. Om doesn't symbolize cosmic unity. It creates it. Proven to induce a 7 to 8 hertz theta state in EEG scans. Deep meditation, each syllable is a tuning fork for the soul. 432 hertz matches. Earth's natural pulse, Schumann resonance, lowers cortisol by 37% in double-blind trials found in Stradivarius violins, Egyptian ankh, tuning forks, Hindu conch shells, 528 Hz, known as the love frequency repairs DNA in 78% of controlled lab samples used by NASA to purify water in space, matches the frequency of chlorophyll, sunlight filtering through leaves, a mother's first whisper to her newborn. Here's what the influencers don't say. Healing isn't in the sound alone, it's in the space between. When vibration pauses, your cells reorganize, like iron filings aligning in the wake of a passing magnet. That's why monks pause 7 seconds between chants. 528 Hz is most potent in 3-minute bursts. Nature prefers rhythm over constant noise. The stillness is sacred. The silence is where the memory returns. Epiphany. You don't merely receive sound healing. You are sound healing, a forgotten instrument waiting for the right note to remember its original song. The goal was never to be healed. The goal was to resonate. You don't find your frequency. You remember it. The moment you hum, really hum, from that secret place below the ribs, 3 things happen. Your sternum vibrates like a struck bell. Your pet tilts its head, and something buried in your cells whispers, "Oh, you've come back." Try it now. A single That's not just vibration. That's memory echoing through your bones. The chakras are not metaphors. They are sound chambers. 7 cathedral rooms inside you, each waiting for its keynote to be sung aloud again. L-A-M, the Route A submarine's depth charge. Tailbone buzzing like a beehive? Stamp your feet and it awakens. V-A-M, the sacral A, wolf's midnight howl. Your womb or sacral basin warms like honey. Trace figure 8s on your lower belly. Ram, the solar plexus, a lion's roar in open savanna. Your diaphragm flickers with electricity. Blow air through pursed lips first. Practice note. Spend at least 3 minutes on each sound. Do not rush to the crown. When the time is right, AUM will feel like liquid light dripping down your spine. Modern sorcery has its tools, and they sing in harmony with the old ways. Tuning forks, 528 Hz protocol. Strike the fork gently against your knee, circle it over your heart, then press the stem to, behind your ears, vagus nerve reboot. Your third eye, pineal ignition. Your liver, detox assistance. Crystal bowls, smoky quartz, root, feels like volcanic thunder. Rose quartz, heart. Your teeth tingle sweetly. Clear quartz, crown, phantom rain on your scalp. Binaural beats. 4. Heart, unlocks buried memory. 7.83. Heart, Earth's pulse in your ears. 40. Heart, brain protection, neurogenesis, deep cognition. Caution, never drive while using headphones. 8 Hz theta can open doorways you're not ready to walk through. And then, silence. Because what no guru will tell you is this: the healing happens after the sound, not during, in the space between vibration and echo. First, 15 seconds. Your cells ring like crystal. Next, 30 seconds. Your cerebrospinal fluid rewinds itself. After 60 seconds, your DNA begins emitting light. That's why monks pause between chants. That's why ocean waves always pull back before they crash. That's why rhythm heals more than noise ever could. Want proof? Try this. Set your timer for 1 minute and 30 seconds. Chant Yam, heart chakra, for the first 60. Then go silent for the last 30. Now notice. A strange metallic taste, lymphatic switch flipped. Hands floating, endorphins flooding in. A memory from nowhere. Theta unlocked. This isn't imagination, it's initiation. But sometimes sound resists, or rather, it reveals. Headaches. You skipped a chakra. Dizziness? Your energy moved faster than your breath could follow. Sudden tears? That's trauma exiting through the frequency gate. This is surgery, No scalpel, no anesthesia, just you and the sound. And here's the truth they won't put in textbooks. You don't need perfect pitch. You don't need crystal bowls or golden forks. The most powerful healing instrument is the one vibrating behind your lips. Your voice, rougher than Tibetan bowls, truer than digital tuning, older than Sanskrit scrolls. You've had it all along. Now sing and listen to the forgotten choir of nature. Theme: nature as a living soundscape. There was a time when the earth didn't just grow under our feet. She sang. There was a time when the earth didn't just grow under our feet. She sang. Every tree, every stone, every winged whisper in the canopy was part of a divine orchestra, a living, breathing soundscape. The wind was never just wind. It was breath. And when it passed through the trees, they responded, not passively, but with resonance. Each species of tree, tuned like a string on a celestial harp, vibrated in harmony with its kind. Pines sang in sharp, silvery whispers. Oaks hummed with low, ancient wisdom. Willows wept soft lullabies into the riverbanks. But we forgot how to listen. Before cities howled and factories groaned, we could hear what the earth was trying to say, not with ears alone, but with the ancient instrument of the soul. Birds weren't just chirping, they were composing. Insects weren't a nuisance, they were rhythm keepers, micro-maestros of vibration and flow. Even the stones, those so-called inert beings, emitted micro-frequencies. To the indigenous mind, to the undistracted heart, these stones were not silent. They were elders, their voices slow but steady, echoing with memory. And deep within the rainforest, where silence is a myth and presence is everything, shamans knew this symphony. They didn't hunt for cures in books. They sat, still, quiet, listening. Not for a sound, but for a frequency. For the song of the plant that would heal. Not chosen by trial, not by science, but by resonance. When you can hear the forest speak, they would say, the medicine reveals itself. Today, we seek what we've silenced. We build sanctuaries to escape our own noise. We walk through forests not to travel, but to return, to remember, to reattune. Modern science now begins to whisper what the ancients already knew. Trees communicate, moss remembers. Fungi carry messages beneath our feet like living telephone wires, and the entire biome pulses with electric song. We call it forest bathing. But it is not passive, it is a recalibration. AI now listens to plants, records their frequencies, deciphers their electrical pulses, and still the mystery remains. Because data can hear the signal, but only the soul can understand the message. So go, leave the noise behind, step into the forgotten choir of nature, sit long enough, still enough, empty enough, and one day you might hear it again, that first note. That gentle hum, the one that reminds you, you were never separate, you were never deaf, you just stopped listening. There is a blueprint hidden in everything, not drawn by hand, but by vibration. When sound becomes visible, it takes shape, and those shapes are not random. They are geometric, precise, eternal. This is the architecture of vibration. Look into cymatics, where frequencies shape sand, water, and dust. Each tone becomes a design. Change the pitch and the pattern shifts. From chaos to symmetry, from noise to meaning, from silence to sacred geometry. Now imagine this not just on a plate of sand, but in your body, in your breath, in your thoughts, in your very being. Because everything that vibrates organizes. And the universe? It's not just a canvas of scattered stars. It is a harmonic cathedral, a geometric dance of frequency, echoing an original sound. The word, as some traditions call it. The ancients knew. Egyptian pyramids weren't merely tombs. They echoed celestial rhythms. Chambers aligned with starlight. Walls tuned to frequencies. Temples in India, constructed to carry mantras. Stones carved not just for beauty, but to resonate. Stone circles across Europe, calibrated to solstice winds. These were sound chambers, living blueprints, matter shaped by intention, guided by vibration. Sacred geometry wasn't decoration, it was design. It aligned spirit, mind, and matter into one coherent pulse. Even your body remembers. Your heart doesn't beat by chance. It entrains, with breath, with thought, with love, or fear. DNA spirals in patterns found in galaxies. The Fibonacci sequence, spiraled into shells, etched into sunflower seeds, woven through hurricanes, is more than math. It is a hymn, a song sung by space and time. And when you're in alignment, you feel it. Clarity, flow, stillness that moves. As if you've stepped into a room where every surface sings the same note. No resistance, no distortion, only truth, humming clear. Science is beginning to listen. Quantum physicists now speak of vibrational fields beneath matter. Yes, everything is energy, but more truly, everything is patterned energy. To heal is not to add, it is to remember, to tune back, to let the internal structure fall into resonance with the source tone. Maybe that's why certain places feel holy, why some chants bring tears, why ancient symbols stir something you thought you forgot, because deep down you didn't forget. You remember. Before the brick, before the breath, before the word, there was a tone, and from that tone came form, came life, came you. So when the structure collapses, when your world feels broken, don't rebuild by force. Return to vibration. Let sound rebuild the shape. Let harmony redesign the space. Because the universe isn't built on matter, it is built on music. And you are a sacred song, still playing, still resonating, still waiting to be heard. You were never just happy or sad. You were vibrating. Every emotion you've ever felt wasn't only a feeling, it was a frequency. Grief has a density. It sits in the chest like wet stone. Anger, it sparks, erratic, sharp, electric. Joy expands. It opens space inside you, as if your soul has grown wings. This isn't metaphor, this is physics. Your emotions shift your heart rate, alter your brain waves, reshape your electromagnetic field. When you feel love, your heart's rhythm becomes coherent, a smooth, harmonious sine wave. When fear takes over, the wave becomes jagged, fragmented, unstable. What you feel broadcasts outward, into the room, inward, into your cells. The body listens, and so does the world. Because frequency doesn't stay contained, it radiates. Every emotion becomes a broadcast tower. And you are the antenna. You don't just experience vibration, you transmit it. Ever walked into a room and felt tension instantly, without a single word spoken? That's not guesswork, that's resonance. Or met someone whose calm slowed your breath, whose laughter felt like light? That's entrainment. Emotions synchronize. They pull people into their field. They tune environments, which means emotional mastery is not just spiritual practice, it's energetic responsibility. Your vibration affects the room, the home, the conversation, the child, the dog, the plants, even the soil beneath your feet. Ancient systems understood. In Taoist medicine, each organ resonates with an emotion. Fear weakens the kidneys, anger agitates the liver, joy nourishes the heart. Science is catching up. Dr. David Hawkins mapped emotions on a vibrational scale. Shame, guilt, apathy, they hum low, close to collapse. Love, gratitude, and joy, they sing higher than reason. Above them, only peace and enlightenment. These are not abstract concepts. These are measurable fields of resonance. And here's the miracle. You can tune yourself like an instrument. You are not the captive of emotion. You are the musician. Breathe differently. Speak truth. Move your body. Practice kindness. And your frequency begins to rise. Sound therapists use tuning forks to restore coherence. But the real tuning fork is awareness. When you become conscious of what you feel, you gain the power to shift up the scale, from fear to trust, from despair to devotion, from pain to presence. Emotion is not weakness. It is vibration spoken in the soul's native tongue. So don't numb what you feel. And don't drown in it either. Feel it, name it, sing it, and then transmute it. Because when you shift your emotional frequency, you don't just change your mood, you change your magnetic field. You retune your reality. And when many hearts do this together, worlds shift. The universe doesn't just respond to thoughts, it responds to vibration. And emotion is your most powerful note. Before there was sound, before light split the void, before form gave birth to shape, there was vibration. Not a metaphor, not mysticism. Physics affirms it. String theory suggests that at the subatomic level, reality isn't made of particles, but vibrating filaments of energy. And the frequency they vibrate at, it determines everything. Color, Massachusetts force, life. Vibration isn't the background, it is the blueprint. It doesn't decorate the universe, it designs it. Every mountain you climb, every thought you think, every cell in your body is not solid. It is movement, it is rhythm, it is dance. The universe itself hums with this unseen music. The earth pulses gently at 7.83 hertz, the Schumann resonance. It's the heartbeat of the planet. And when you enter deep meditation, when you dream, when you're aligned, your brain waves match it. Your body tunes to it. Your soul remembers it. Ancient sages didn't need EEGs to know this. They built temples not for worship, but for resonance, aligned to the stars, anchored in sacred stone, designed to amplify the earth's pulse. Because they knew, to feel the sacred, you must sync with its rhythm. Your heart is a drum. Each beat sends waves through your bloodstream. Each breath is a bellows for your inner fire. Each emotion, a frequency. Fear compresses. Love expands. And you don't just feel emotions, you emit them. That's why your presence enters a room before your words do. Why silence can roar louder than speech. Why peace can ripple outward like perfume from the soul. Mystics, shamans, monks, they all knew this truth. If you change the frequency, you change the form. Chants, drums, mantras, bowls. These weren't rituals of religion. They were recalibrations, tuning forks for the spirit, mechanisms to bring you back to the pulse beneath all things. Now even science is remembering. Frequency healing, binaural beats, electromagnetic therapies. They all whisper the same truth the mystics sang. You are not a body that vibrates. You are vibration becoming a body. And when you remember this, you stop trying to escape noise. You begin to find the music in it. You don't chase stillness. You tune into harmony. You don't run from chaos. You rise above its dissonance. Because everything is music. Everything is frequency. Everything is alive. And you are not separate from the song. You are one of its most sacred notes, a living chord in the grand symphony of the cosmos. Time isn't a river flowing in one direction. It's not a line etched in stone. Time is a wave, a vibration that echoes through the very fabric of existence. Each moment reverberates, rippling outward and inward, folding the past into the present into the future. Imagine time like sound, not a ticking clock, but the resonance of all things intertwined. Ancient cultures knew this deep in their bones. They marked time by cycles, the waxing and waning moon, the dance of seasons, the heartbeat of nature's eternal pulse. Our modern clocks? They try to trap this fluid mystery inside cold steel cages. But time slips through their grasp. Always alive, always moving, always vibrating. Quantum physics offers us glimpses behind the veil, particles existing in multiple times at once, events entangled across vast epochs, reality bending and flexing like a living melody. Even your memories, they aren't fixed photographs. They shimmer, echo and shift, changing with each recall, altering the vibration of your personal timeline. This is why moments of deep trauma or ecstatic joy leave lasting echoes. Their frequencies imprint on your being, resonating long after the event has passed. And just as sound can be shaped and molded, so too can the vibration of time be shifted. Through meditation, trance, and altered states of consciousness, time's flow bends and twists. Minutes can stretch into hours, hours can collapse into seconds. Ancient shamans spoke of time travel, not with machines or devices, but through vibration itself. By tuning their consciousness to different frequencies, they stepped through layers of reality, visiting past lives, glimpsing future possibilities, walking alternate echoes of their own soul. Today, science begins to catch up, exploring time perception, studying chronobiology, even developing technologies that aim to rewind or fast-forward cellular aging. If time is vibration, then by changing your own frequency, you shift your experience of time itself. This reveals a profound truth. You are not a victim caught in time's current. You are a co-creator, a dancer on the waves of the cosmic song. To move with time, to ride its vibrations, rather than be swept helplessly by its flow, is to awaken to your deepest power. So listen closely to the echoes of time. They are the soundtrack of your existence, whispering ancient secrets, calling you to align, to resonate, and ultimately to transcend. The body is more than flesh and bone. It is a living orchestra, each cell a vibrating string, each organ a resonant chamber. Inside you, rhythms pulse in endless symphony. Your heartbeat, steady, unwavering, is the primal drumbeat of life itself. It carries the ancient rhythm that connects you to the earth beneath your feet, to the vast stars scattered across the sky. Breath flows like waves crashing upon the shore, a constant tide of expansion and contraction, inhaling the universe, exhaling the cosmos. Your nervous system hums with electric currents, neurons firing in cascading waves, signals that carry the language of sensation, thought, and feeling. And deeper still, at the molecular level, vibrations dance in the bonds of atoms, resonating with the very fabric of reality. Ancient healers understood this truth. They didn't merely treat symptoms, they tuned the body's frequencies, using sound, touch, breath, and intention to restore harmony and flow. Chants, mantras, singing bowls, all awaken these hidden vibrations, realigning the body's energy fields, opening channels once blocked by trauma or imbalance. Modern science now begins to catch up. Biofield research reveals subtle electromagnetic waves emanating from the body, influencing health, mood, and vitality. Sound healing, vibration therapy, energy medicine. These ancient arts are gaining modern recognition for their power to awaken the body's innate capacity to heal itself. Yet the greatest pulse is often overlooked, the pulse of your own awareness. Consciousness itself resonates within, a radiant beacon tuning the entire orchestra. When you focus your attention, you become the conductor of your inner symphony. Your thoughts and emotions shift frequencies, rippling through body and mind, creating new patterns of health and vitality. This is why practices like meditation, breathwork, and mindful movement are far more than tools for relaxation. They are instruments of transformation. They teach you to listen deeply, to feel the subtle rhythms beneath the surface, and to harmonize with the pulse within. In this sacred dance of vibration, you rediscover your true nature. Not a static, fixed being, but a dynamic, resonant vessel of life itself. The pulse within is the pulse of the cosmos. When you align with it, you step fully into a flow of health, joy, and creative power. Your body sings. Are you ready to hear it? Long before machines filled the skies and streets, humanity lived in harmony with the world's subtle songs. The ancients understood that sound was not mere noise. It was a bridge between worlds, a sacred language of creation. From deep caves painted with timeless symbols to soaring temples etched with endless chants, every culture crafted soundscapes that echoed cosmic truths beyond words. The ancient drums beat with the heartbeat of the earth, their rhythms calling tribes together in ritual and reverence. Flutes and didgeridoos mimic the wandering winds, carrying messages from one soul to another, from the living to the ancestors waiting beyond. In the Himalayan mountains, monks intoned chants, low vibrations rippling through stone and silence, opening doors to altered states of consciousness where time folds and the veil between worlds thins. The sacred solfeggio frequencies, notes once revered by the ancients, were said to unlock healing, clarity, and awakening. Their precise vibrations aligned listeners with the harmonic blueprint of the cosmos itself. But as the ages passed, many of these sonic keys were lost, buried beneath layers of noise, distraction, and forgetting. Yet they remain hidden in plain sight, encoded in myth, ritual, and the geometry of sacred monuments. The pyramids, Stonehenge, and countless other sites were built not just with stone and sweat, but with a deep understanding of resonance, designed to capture, amplify, and direct energy. Modern science is only now beginning to unravel this ancient wisdom, discovering that their knowledge was rooted in an intuitive grasp of vibration's true power. Today, sound therapy and sacred geometry converge, offering new ways to rediscover these echoes, to awaken the ancient song that still hums within us. Tuning forks calibrated to solfeggio tones can unlock blocked energy deep inside. Vibrational medicine taps into the same forces that once healed kings and shamans alike. We are, in essence, walking vessels carrying the legacy of these ancient echoes. When we remember to listen, truly listen, we reconnect to a lineage of wisdom that transcends time, language, and culture. This is the call to awaken, to hear beyond the clamor of the modern world, to reclaim the forgotten choir that sings within every stone, every leaf, every heartbeat. The ancient song awaits. Will you answer? Long before machines filled the skies and streets, humanity lived in harmony with the world's subtle songs. The ancients understood that sound was not mere noise. It was a bridge between worlds, a sacred language of creation. From deep caves painted with timeless symbols to soaring temples etched with endless chants, every culture crafted soundscapes that echoed cosmic truths beyond words. The ancient drums beat with the heartbeat of the earth, their rhythms calling tribes together in ritual and reverence. Flutes and didgeridoos mimic the wandering winds, carrying messages from one soul to another, from the living to the ancestors waiting beyond. In the Himalayan mountains, monks intoned chants, low vibrations rippling through stone and silence, opening doors to altered states of consciousness where time folds and the veil between worlds thins. The sacred solfeggio frequencies, notes once revered by the ancients, were said to unlock healing, clarity, and awakening. Their precise vibrations aligned listeners with the harmonic blueprint of the cosmos itself. But as the ages passed, many of these sonic keys were lost, buried beneath layers of noise, distraction, and forgetting. Yet they remain hidden in plain sight, encoded in myth, ritual, and the geometry of sacred monuments. The pyramids, Stonehenge, and countless other sites were built not just with stone and sweat, but with a deep understanding of resonance, designed to capture, amplify, and direct energy. Modern science is only now beginning to unravel this ancient wisdom, discovering that their knowledge was rooted in an intuitive grasp of vibration's true power. Today, sound therapy and sacred geometry converge, offering new ways to rediscover these echoes, to awaken the ancient song that still hums within us. Tuning forks calibrated to solfeggio tones can unlock blocked energy deep inside. Vibrational medicine taps into the same forces that once healed kings and shamans alike. We are, in essence, walking vessels carrying the legacy of these ancient echoes. When we remember to listen, truly listen, we reconnect to a lineage of wisdom that transcends time, language, and culture. This is the call to awaken, to hear beyond the clamor of the modern world, to reclaim the forgotten choir that sings within every stone, every leaf, every heartbeat. The ancient song awaits. Will you answer?